Hey church! Every month we like to share an update on what we see God doing through our 2-year discipleship initiative called Cannonball. Cannonball has been an amazing opportunity for each of us to take seriously the call to follow Jesus with our entire lives. We've taken personal steps of obedience to jump into life, faith, and generosity, knowing that our God provides abundantly and has plans to make waves in this world through us. Cannonball is fueling everything that happens at FCC over this 2-year season. That includes investments in our facilities that make waves of legacy by preparing our building for the next 50 years of ministry. It includes the many waves of impact we're seeing God make through us in our local outreach, increased global missions involvement, and expanding our internships and residency programs. And Cannonball also fuels the waves of ministry that happen every day here at FCC. The DNA of FCC is to worship, serve, disciple, and tell. This summer, our church has been living these out in so many ways. Earlier this summer, 14 of our students went to serve with our longtime friends at Christian Service Mission in Birmingham, Alabama. We've been sending teams to work with them for 10 years, and this year the team did all kinds of construction work on 2 different houses. In addition to the practical acts of service, this is the backdrop for many wonderful discipleship conversations, as students consider how God might be calling them to a life of service and vocational ministry. Similar stories came from this year's student trip to CIY Move. 28 students and 5 leaders had a ton of fun all week, but they also were challenged as they experienced God calling them to new levels of faith, service, and even 2 decisions to get baptized. In July, our middle school students had a blast at Camp ACC. We always hear amazing stories from this week, and this year was no exception. So many of our summer interns and volunteers led worship, discipled students, and we celebrated 3 decisions to get baptized. One of the high points of the summer is always FCC Kids Day Camp. This is a week of extravagant games, snacks, worship, science experiments, crafts, and activities that don't even fit into a category. This year, 293 kids attended, and every inch of the church was buzzing. Now, it takes an army of leaders to make something like this happen, and we have 190 amazing volunteers to thank for that. We hear just as many stories of life change from them as we do from the kids. God works powerfully through hearts that are ready to serve and show the children of our community how big and wide and patient the love of God is. We've seen discipleship and connection happen beyond the walls of FCC this summer as well, as 100 of you participated in our Dinner for 8 program. Gathering in homes, parks, and restaurants around the city, we witnessed something as simple as a meal transform strangers into a community. And just last weekend, 155 people attended the gathering. Volunteers and ministries across the whole church spent time training, discussing, and taking steps to be more invested and equipped to do the work of God through FCC. And we had over 300 people making a literal splash together at our Wetlands Back to School event. This was also the 10th year of our Single Women and Widows Oil Change event. And let me tell you, this is an incredible ministry of our church. 35 women were loved well with an extensive breakfast as we took their cars to be serviced free of charge. 2 women who had never set foot in our church before kept looking around for the catch. And at the end, they walked away amazed that there was no catch. We simply wanted them to feel loved and cared for. Like everything with Cannonball, these numbers represent lives being impacted and hearts being transformed. Like the students hearing God's call to ministry. The families who find community for the first time in a long time. The volunteers at day camp who are blessed by pouring themselves out for God's purposes. For any one of these events this summer, there are countless stories embedded in each of them that represent the waves of ministry rippling through our church and out into our community. And a beautiful parallel to the work we see God doing through the ongoing ministry of FCC throughout this Cannonball season is the number of baptism decisions we've been witness to. 40 of them just this year, to be exact. God has been at work in so many hearts, and we are looking forward to what this next season can bring.